the iconic.
Two individuals will stand in front of you in court today and prove that Lucid City has no place for criminals like Mr. Jones and Mr. Wick.
Pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Hawaii.
Prosecution, you may call your witness.
Rival Jones and Don Wick do not deserve to own a weapons store. Please bring justice to this case and to our loving home, the city of Lucid.
All right. His Honorable Justice James Russo.
You may be
Court is now in
seated.
session.
All right, Your Honor, I think we're good to go.
All right, court is now in session. Shadow Clerk, can you proceed with the oaths, please?
We are live in the courtroom. LCPD versus Don Wick and Rival. Got the whole family in this thing.
You solemnly swear, as the case may be, that you will do nothing dishonest and will or upon penalty of perjury.
I do.
Your Honor. Yes, I do.
And do you solemnly swear, sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that you will do nothing dishonest and will not knowingly that you will not knowingly on penalty of perjury?
I do. I do.
Alrighty. For the jurors, you solemnly sincere, as the case may be, and the laws of the state that you will not talk about the case and do so, that you will listen to and consider what other jurors have to say the operations of the case, that you will not see someone or allow one else to see about the case until you have been instructed that will be penalty of perjury.
I do.
I do.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, bailiff, can you set a timer for 2 minutes for opening statements? Prosecution, opening statements.
May I please the court, Your Honor?
You may please the court.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Opposing counsel, members of the jury. I would like all of you to take a second and reflect on your past months inside of Lucid City. A city that we all know and love, currently suffering due to the immense amount of savage criminals roaming our streets. This is our city, and we are watching it drop to the ground. Every day, we hear the roaring sirens speeding through the streets. We see the bullets flying through our houses, our own family members dying on a daily basis. We live a constant life of fear because of the criminals that infect our home, Lucid City. Now, members of the jury, I'd like you to turn your head and take a look at the two defendants sitting in front of you today, Mr. Rival Jones and Mr. Don Wick. Two people that have contributed to the high amount of crime occurring in our Lucid City. Members of the jury, the state of San Andreas will be able to provide that the defendants are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Two individuals will stand in front of you in court today and prove that Lucid City has no place for criminals like Mr. Jones and Mr. Wick. Officer Josh Studs will testify today that he was a main part of Operation Ammo, the operation that caught these criminals in their heinous acts. Officer Studs will tell you that he sent in multiple undercover officers to purchase their guns without having a weapon license. The police department has submitted loads of evidence to the state, proving that Mr. Jones and Mr. Wick were distributing illegal firearms into the hands of relentless criminals. Mr. Ducky K, a fellow citizen of Lucid and ammunition owner, will testify today to the fact that he has given out multiple weapons to citizens with weapon license. Mr. K will tell you that he has also noticed multiple criminals owning a weapon with no weapon license due to the illegal distribution under Mr. Jones and Mr. Wick. Members of the jury, I'd like you to carefully consider all of the evidence that will be presented to you today. Rival Jones and Don Wick do not deserve to own a weapon store and definitely do not deserve to be in possession of any weapons. They have contributed to the multiple crimes including murder, robberies, and many more. Our families are fearing for their lives. Please bring justice to this case and to our loving home, the city of Lucid. Thank you for your time.
To bailiff, 2-minute timer. Counsel, opening statements.
That was a good opening statement. All right.
You may please the court.
Here we go, Scott.
So, my fellow citizens of Lucid City, the prosecution would have you believe that we have an awful problem with criminals and multiple people dying in this city. But the criminals are not what he would have you believe. The criminals are standing in this room right now. The criminals are the police department, whose sirens you hear waking you up all night, whose bullets you hear tearing apart the lives of innocent people. My defendant, Mr. Jones, is a responsible business owner who was raided by police only hours after getting his store. And he was not only arrested for that, they want to take away his store for a negligent and potentially criminal employee. The prosecution would have you believe that Mr. Jones is some sort of mastermind distributing illegal weaponry to criminals. The Lucid City Police Force investigated his store for only 2 hours and 15 minutes before raiding it. But as you can see in the evidence, not only did it email his employees immediately after hiring them to check for gun license before selling weapons, he also keeps meticulous records for all those who purchase weapons in the store. So I ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you think that we should take away a store from a business owner for the improper hiring of someone who needed his help? I rest my case. I'm done.
Prosecution, you may call your witness.
Your Honor, the state would like to call Officer Josh Stutz to the stand.
Calling Officer Josh Suds to the stand, please.
Uh-oh.
Please raise your right hand.
This is such good content, I know.
Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in this case now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, homeboy? So help you under the pains and penalties of the pre-jury?
Yes, sir.
Wick.
Okay, you may be seated. Well, I'm gonna go sit. You may not be seated.
Prosecution, you have 6 minutes for direct examination.
Hi, how are you today, officer?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Can you please
Let's
tell
go,
us your
Dizzy.
first and last name?
My name is Josh Studs.
What is your position within the Los Santos Police Department?
I am a Sergeant 1, sir.
Alrighty. And what subdivisions are you currently under within the Los Santos Police Department?
I'm currently under 3 subdivisions. I am captain of the CIU unit. I'm an SCU officer, speed enforcement, and also I am in SWAT, sir.
And what positions are you within those subdivisions?
In our SCU unit, I'm officer class 2, and in SWAT, since the program just initiated, we all went in as regular officers, sir.
Alright, and approximately how many gun cases have you done since the opening of Lucid City?
Since we initiated our CIU program, we reinstated it again roughly about 2.5 weeks ago. So
Are you aware? Oh,
yeah.
Keep going.
So we reinstated it again under a new command, under our Chief Toretto and under Reagan. So we reinstated about 2 weeks ago, sir.
Alright, that's all. Are you aware of the case Operation Ammo?
Yes, sir. I currently led it.
And in detail, can you please describe why Operation Ammo was open and initiated?
No problem. So we got a pattern of unregistered pistols going on. And not just our regular combat pistols, which we know that are crafted, but our regular pistols that are given out by Ammunition and PD. This was going on, but of course we had no idea where they were coming from until we heard that there was a lot of commotion going around Ammunition 1, a lot of crowding, a lot of shots fired around that area. So I sent in a couple of my undercover officers to go ahead and check it out, what's going on there.
Alrighty. And can you point out the owner of Ammunition 200, or otherwise known as Ammunition 1, in this courtroom?
He's sitting right there, sir, with the green jacket, sir.
Alrighty. Your Honor, I would like to now submit Exhibit A.
All right, you may approach the bench.
Yeah, I'm turning on too. Jeez! Yo, where do I buy ammo, fam? Oh shit, alright. Say less, brother. Alright, wait, I don't have a gun license. Do I need to give it to you back or not? Jeez!
Good fucking looks. What's up? Let's work inside.
Alrighty. Do you recognize the body cam footage that I just showed you?
Yes, sir, I did.
Alrighty. And do you recognize the man walking around in the puffer coat jacket in the store?
Shit.
That was Mr. Wick there sitting down.
So, that is Mr. Wick right here in this green jacket, correct?
Affirmative.
Alright. And do you recognize the people purchasing the firearms?
Yes, that was our Commander Shores and our Officer Enzo.
Alrighty. And in a certain part of the body cam footage,
Yeah.
Can you please restate what the buyer said about a weapon license?
He asked if he needed a weapons license. He said no. He went ahead and just sold it to him without asking for any licenses.
Just
And
wait!
was Mr. Wick in presence when this question was asked?
Mr. Wick wasn't present when that question was asked.
All right, that is all, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
Oh, fuck. I have a good lawyer. I have a good lawyer.
Yo, bro, I'm about to...
Right, the defense can cross-examine for 3.
Damn.
Apologize, muscle spasm.
Okay, here goes a cross-examination. We have good lawyers. I'm not even worried.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Thank you. Okay, you may approach the witness.
All right, thank you. Officer Studs, do you deal with lawyers a lot in your line of duty?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you aware that Mr. Wick is not, in fact, the owner, the man who you identified in green?
Oh, okay. I'm not known. He might. Is he not it? I don't know.
No, he's actually, in fact, security. But that will come up later.
Oh, okay.
When exactly did your investigation begin? What date?
I would need to go back and check that for you.
Ooh.
Don't have that information on hand?
I can check it. Right. Give me 1 second. I haven't
we
pulled up my email.
got time.
Okay. Operation Ammo initiated 3/8/20, sir, from 8 p.m. to 10:15 p.m.
So that would be March 8th, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did the investigation end with a raid on the ammunition in question?
Yes, sir.
And what date did that raid occur?
Soon after that investigation ended. What we did was
Hold
there
on,
was
hold
a
on.
few more investigations.
I asked you
Okay.
what date did that raid occur?
I believe the date, it was either the next day, sir, so probably 3/9.
Do
I'm
you
not too
believe
sure.
or do you know? I need facts
I don't know.
here.
I wasn't part. I didn't lead the raid, sir.
What do you mean? You weren't part of your own investigation? You weren't
So
part of the
our
raid?
raid was led by another officer. My job was to simply gather investigations.
So you're not sure what date the raid occurred?
I'm not sure the date the raid occurred, no, sir.
All right, that would be March 8th. Do you think it's appropriate to raid a store the very day it opens?
If they're doing illegal activities, yes, sir.
Who actually sold the guns in question? I would like to present.
Let's go. Let's go.
Evidence. What is it? Exhibit B, Your Honor. The guns in question.
You may present your evidence.
All right. Is this a fair and accurate representation of the guns that were sold, with the serial numbers and everything?
Affirmative.
I would like to ask you, were any of either of my clients or defendants' fingerprints on any of the firearms?
No, sir. Just the ones that were named there. No, sir.
They weren't on any of the fingerprint. There were fingerprints of my client on there.
No, sir. Not of your client. No, sir.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
So so who exactly personally sold these firearms in question?
The ones that were in the video, sir. In the body
Yes,
cam with
correct.
evidence. Yep.
Correct. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
The gentleman in white in the video sold them, correct?
The gentleman in the white sold them. Yes, sir.
All right. Is that either of the two defendants you see before you?
No, sir.
All right. Have you ever been deported before?
No, sir.
Yeah, have you ever been deported from Lucid City before?
No, sir.
Are you aware that lying under oath is perjury?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just curious. What actions were taken prior to the raid by police to reprimand the store or ownership?
Can you repeat yourself, sir?
What actions did you or the police take prior to the raid to reprimand the store or ownership?
So what we did was I got undercover officers to go in that store and try to have one of the sellers there to sell in a gun.
Yeah, but
without a
that's
license.
not what I'm asking. I'm asking, once you found out that potentially illegal guns are being sold here, unregistered firearms, did you make an attempt to contact the owner and let him know one of his employees was committing a crime?
Yeah.
All right, so I believe the last question I asked was if any action was taken by the police to reprimand the store ownership, and I didn't receive an answer there, or that I was aware of.
Yeah, so I was in the middle of answering that. So what we did was we gathered enough evidence, and then I put it into something called our evidence locker. And then there are higher ups, or my higher ups, and reviews the evidence, and then agrees whether this is an offense in which we could raid or not.
Yeah, that's not what I asked. I asked if you or the police took any action to inform the store, to reprimand or inform the store owner that
Objection, Your Honor.
crimes are being committed.
On what grounds?
Objection, Your Honor.
On what grounds?
Argumentative question.
Sustained.
Allow me to rephrase that, okay?
Go ahead.
Was there any attempt to contact the owner to let them know that they had an employee potentially committing a crime, especially one as heinous as this?
No, sir. I was alerted by my higher official that this is something that the government or higher ups are going to be.
So, as to your best knowledge, nobody made an attempt to let the store owner know that he had a negligent employee.
To my best knowledge, no. But I did speak to him the day after.
Okay. Were any actions taken against the employee that sold any items? Have any charges been filed against him?
That the suspect code zeroed once we had him in custody.
Are you aware that seizing a citizen's property without a warrant is against the citizen's Fourth Amendment rights?
I'm not sure whether we had authorization by our higher ups, so that's something that you need to ask them, not me, sir.
All right. Do you respect the Constitution?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, are you aware that officers in your
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
On what grounds?
Relevancy.
Sustained.
All right. I have no further. Oh, so when you say shots were fired around the area of the ammunition, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you aware that they have an in-house firing range?
Yeah, so the way that works is we don't have those on our radar. If they're inside the specifically like that, we see them around the block. So on that street, I'm not sure what that street is in front of that ammunition, but we see clear indication of blimps on our iPads of shots being fired either in front or on the side of that street, sir.
All right. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Good
Would
deal.
the prosecution like to call another witness to the stand? Do you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution rest?
Yes, sir.
Would the
Ooh.
defense like to call their first witness to the stand?
If it pleases the court, we'd like to call Mr. Rival Jones up to the stand.
You solemnly
There we go.
state that the testimony you may give in this case, now pending before this court, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, homeboy. So help you under pains and penalties of the pre-jury.
I do.
Alrighty.
May I approach the witness?
You may approach the witness.
Timer has begun.
Mr. Jones, can you please state your name for the court?
Rival Jones.
Can you please state your affiliation with the ammunition located at number 200?
I'm the owner of that gun store.
So, if I may ask, how do you train your employees?
We have a 3-step process where we teach them how to use the store, such as building the gun and preparing a weapon and how to clock in and out. And then we teach them how to I invite them to the Discord, and I teach them all the rules of our Discord and the store. And then thirdly, we teach them how to sell a weapon and how to interact with our customers. And in my Discord, there is a rule where it states, please follow all of Lucid City's rules and guidelines, as we do not sell to anyone without a gun license. And that rule was put in there before the cops even showed up to my store.
So, the man in white who was selling the guns, his name is Justin Lee, correct?
Yes.
How did you come to employ Justin Lee in your store?
Well, Justin was recommended to me by one of my very trusted friends, who I'm going to remain anonymous, but I was told by him he was a good worker and he would follow my rules, so I hired him, not knowing that he didn't plan on following my rules.
So, do you know where he is now?
I do not. I haven't spoken
Objection,
with him
Your
since I
Honor.
fired with him.
Relevant?
Can you please explain how this is relevant to your questioning?
Your Honor, I do not know that. Do not understand why his where he is now is relevant to the case.
Sustained.
So, is it possible that this employee was receiving bribes to sell weapons behind your back by criminals?
Yeah, it's probably very likely that he was helping other people out with guns in order to maybe profit for himself, yeah.
And to your knowledge, while you were there, he never sold a weapon without a gun's license, correct?
Not to my knowledge, no.
So, I see you sent an email to all of your employees 11 minutes after buying the store, including Mr. Justin Lee. 11 minutes after you own the store, that states that all people are to sell only to people with gun license, and that this email was made the day of the raid. Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
So did the police ever contact you about the conduct of your employee?
No, they did not.
So the raid was a total surprise then?
Yeah, I didn't even know about it.
So do you think it was a little bit untoward that they would raid your property without even notifying you?
Oh yeah, I believe that they definitely should have at least came and spoke with me before they came and raided my store, but I believe that
Yeah,
that
it
wasn't very
appears
fair.
that the investigation was only 2 hours and 15 minutes. So they raided you on the very first day of you owning the store?
Yep.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to cross-examine the witness?
Do one of you guys want to cross? Or do you want me to do it?
I can do it.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Can the clerk please set a timer for 3 minutes?
How are you, sir? Of the sales do you take for your own self as the owner? 10%. So
There we
if
go.
you sell one handgun for 15,000, how much do you keep?
Well, the government takes
Objection.
12,000.
Relevancy.
It is very relevant.
Sorry,
They're
can you
trying
explain
to
how this is
see the
relevant?
amount of money he's making and why he would be forced to sell guns without a license.
I don't see how that's relevant because whether he makes money or not is not material to the case.
It is relevant because he wants to sell weapons without a license to increase his sales.
Your Honor?
Overruled.
What amount of money do you keep from the 15,000 sale of one handgun?
Well, the government takes about 12,000 from that, so I make about 3,000, and then my workers probably take about half of that, so I'll probably only make like $500.
All right. Do you pay for advertisement?
I do not.
What are your running costs?
Everything's free.
Would you say you're making a good profit selling weapons legally with a firearms license?
Yes.
All right. What was the price of the purchase of the store?
500,000.
And that is the whole price or just your cut?
That was the whole price.
All right, all right. Please tell me, are you in a rush to make the money back?
I'm not.
You are not in a rush.
I've already made the money back.
All right. Is it your responsibility that your employees are making sales?
Yes, it is.
Is it your responsibility that your ammunition store sells based on the laws of the land?
Yes, it is.
Is it your responsibility that all regulations and laws are followed starting from the first minute you have opened your doors?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I see what he's doing.
Have you ever yourself sold weapons at your store?
Yes.
Do you remember checking firearms licenses?
Yes, I do every time.
What do you check?
The gun license.
How do you do so?
I flex my muscle, my check gun license muscle.
All right. Do you remember the last person you checked the firearms license of?
No, but I keep logs so I can tell you.
Wait.
That is enough. You don't remember. Thank you. That is all.
The defense, would you like to call another witness to the
Objection,
stand?
leading at the end there. He's claiming my client doesn't remember. He keeps meticulous logs.
I keep logs. I can tell you right now.
Should we show this log as evidence?
Yeah, I object.
Excuse
to that
me, Your
last
Honor.
statement as leading.
Yes, prosecutor.
Their time for direct examination has passed already.
That is true. Defense would like to call another witness to the stand.
We'd like to call Mr. John Wick to the stand.
All right, clerk, can you please bring him to the stand?
Calling Mr. DonWick to the stand. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in this case now, pending before this court, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, homeboy? So help you under the pains and penalties of the pre-jury.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
May I approach the witness?
You may approach the witness. Clerk, please set a timer for 6 minutes.
Timer is on, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Wick, could you please state your name for the court?
Yes, Don Wick.
And could you please state your affiliation with the gun store at 200 then and now?
Security.
Then being the time of the raid?
At the time of the raid, I was hired as a security guard. Now I am a co-owner.
So they hired you as a security guard? What did you do?
Pretty much just kept an eye on the place, handled irate customers, secured the premises.
What were the typical threats that you had to deal with on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, I'd say the number one threat was irate customers due to the fact that they had to have a gun license to purchase a weapon. They were being denied service.
So you were informed that everyone should have a gun license before purchasing weapons.
That is correct.
So was there any warning of the raid?
No, sir.
So what happened? How did you come across the raid?
Yes, sir. So I arrived at the store at the same time the police arrived.
You guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was detained without warning or
No,
question.
Restart. No one heard you.
Yeah, you cut off.
Okay. All right. When I arrived at the when I arrived at the gun store, the police arrived at the same exact time. And I was detained without warning or questioning and taken to the police station. And I wasn't even inside the store or on duty. I was literally walking up the parking lot.
So they detained you despite the fact that you're not even responsible for selling weapons?
Correct. That is correct.
Did you feel threatened by the police when they took you in?
Yes, as I stated before, without warning or questioning, I was taken directly to the police station, and I wasn't even inside the store or on duty.
And the police raid was on the very first day of the store opening, correct?
Yes, it was.
So do you think it's appropriate for police to raid a store the very first day it opens?
No, I don't think it's appropriate. I believe the police
I
should
object.
On what grounds?
Relevance of why did the raid happen on the first day?
Could you please explain why this is relevant?
The lawyer is stating that it is okay to break laws on the first day and they should not be punished because it is the first day.
Sustained. Please rephrase your question.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
Have both sides rested?
Uh-oh.
Gotta make sure you're shouting, my man.
Good evening, Mr. Wick. How are you doing this fine afternoon?
Doing good, sir.
Okay. Can you please state your position with the company at the ammunition?
At this current moment...
Objection asked and answered.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
When was the company acquired, Mr. Wick?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained. Please rephrase your question.
Oof.
Okay. Can you please state your position with the company when you guys bought it?
Objection asked and answered.
Yeah, this...
Sustained. This is your last warning.
Ooh.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like to submit Exhibits C for evidence.
You may submit your evidence.
Who hired you? I didn't even catch his name. It was so quick. He was literally in and out. I don't even have his number.
Do you know the owners of the store?
No, he said, "You want a job?" I said, "Sure." He said, "We need security." I said, "All right." We went to the register. He did something, and then he left. And then I think that's when Marshmallow and Ghost walked in.
So you have no percentage of that ammunition.
No, I'm a security guard. I make I make like $60 an hour. I've literally been in the city for 2 hours, like literally.
Okay. So
like out of,
because
if we check your owner and you're lying to us, we can obviously see that.
Oh shit.
You know
Uh-oh! What's that?
I said, you know we can check, right?
Check what?
You're just a security guard or not?
Okay. Yeah, we walked in. He did something. It said on duty, so I clicked on duty.
Who's he?
Whoever the guy was.
What was he wearing?
He had like a face mask. He had a hat.
The guy that was outside that we arrested and he disappeared?
I don't know. I don't know who disappeared. I know Zay was riding with me. We came from Benny's. I didn't even go in the store. We literally pulled up at the same time that y'all pulled up.
Okay, hey, Mr. Wick.
Yes, sir.
How easy is it to make money by selling to non-licensed holders?
Objection asked and answered.
And did it
Sir,
play a role
hold on.
in your decision in making buying the company?
Sorry, who made an objection?
The defense made an objection. This was covered in the previous testimony.
Sustained.
I object.
On what
Based on
grounds?
that objection, the question was asked from the previous person, not this individual.
Yeah, but this man's security, so I'll object on relevancy then.
It is very relevant because
Yeah, no, it's not, because this man's not even allowed to sell firearms. in the
Sir,
store.
sir, that is the case, and the point that we were trying to prove here. Asked and answered objection. It must be
why are
asked
you
by a
talking?
previous attorney.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
An asked and answered objection must be asked by a previous attorney that testified him. I believe my attorney right here did not ask that question before. And also an objection to relevancy. The reason we are asking the question about his security job and the job he withholds within the company is because that's what we are trying to prove within our case, that he is more than just a security guard within the company.
Overruled, you may proceed with your question.
Yeah, I'll withdraw my objections, Your Honor.
Uh-oh.
You may continue.
Okay. Once again, I will ask, how easy is it to make money by selling to non-license holder, and did that play in a role in your decision of buying a share of this company?
No, sir. I never sold any illegal weapons. And when I did not buy into this company. When the position was handed to me, I was aware that we do not sell guns without licenses.
Okay, but that is you in the footage, right, when the sale happens?
That is me off to the corner. I did not make that sale.
So you were not behind the counter, is that correct?
That's from the footage shown. That's correct. I was on the front side.
Objection, Your Honor. Which piece of evidence is he referring to, please?
Sustained. Please provide the evidence.
The body camera from the officer Enzo from the sale with Commander Shores.
Continue.
Could you hear if the customers were asking if they need a license, Mr. Wick?
No, I did not. I did not hear the customers asking that.
Okay. But you were 1 meter away, standing in the corner. How could you have not heard them say that they didn't have a license?
Well, as we've seen in the
Objection,
exhibit.
argumentative.
On what grounds, sorry?
Argumentative question.
How's the question argumentative?
The phrasing.
Okay, Mr. Wick.
Sustained.
Mr. Wick.
Yes, sir.
How could you have not been around? You were right there. How could you have not heard that the buyers did not have a license?
When we seen in the evidence, Rival was actually calling me off to the side, and I wasn't even focused on the customers or the employee. Rival called me over there, so I was walking over there. I didn't even know what was going on with them.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wick. That's all, Your Honor.
All right. I was told that the prosecution would like to call another witness to the stand. You may
Yes, Your
call your
Honor.
witness to the stand.
The state would like to call Chief Toretto to the stand.
All right, clerk.
Objection. Prosecution was not aware that they would be calling this witness, and they have to disclose all information before the trial.
Yeah, defense was not made aware of this witness at all. This is a total surprise to us.
Yes, sir. I mean, you can sustain that objection, but we had an out of game something that our witness couldn't control. His power went out.
Would the defense be okay with letting the witness?
Well, we had
on the
asked
stand?
previously. We had asked the prosecutor previously in the day if he had any other witnesses, and he didn't. I never heard anything about this witness. So
They weren't prepared though for the power outage. If you guys would like to sustain this, we can. But if you would like to continue, we can.
Up to you, Artie.
yeah, let's. It's up to you, Your Honor. It's your courtroom.
We're gonna sustain the objection.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. That will be all from us then.
Have both sides rested?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Both the prosecution and the defense have now rested their cases. The attorneys will now present their final arguments. Please remember, what the attorney says is not evidence. However, do listen closely. They are intended to aid you in your understanding the case, your understanding in the case. The defense can go.
All right. Ladies and judge and your honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution would try to make you believe that Mr. Wick and Mr. Jones are guilty of trying to sell guns to people who do not have a license. Is that really what you saw today in this courtroom? Is that what the evidence that was presented today showed? Did either of these men ever sell any weapon that was unlicensed, according to this evidence that was presented? And on top of that, should employers be blamed for poor decisions of an employee who went against the training that was given to him? Should one of his coworkers who works security and isn't even allowed, nor does he sell guns at the store, be punished for this also? Is there direct evidence that Mr. Jones and Mr. Wick are guilty of these allegations? We at the defense, we the people, believe not. This entire raid is borderline malpractice from police. I personally believe it's malpractice. Good thing the jury is here to see that justice is done to my client. Is someone guilty of this crime? Absolutely. But he's not on trial here. He's not here. As you heard from the officer, the man code zeroed. He's not here right now. They don't have anybody. So they're trying to blame my defendants, our defendants. This trial has been pushed by prejudice and a rushed investigation by the police department, dangerously incompetent police force handling this farce of an investigation whose only goal in this was to seize property from a new perspiring business owner in this city. It is clear that these defendants are not guilty of the crimes being alleged against them. The defense rests your case, Your Honor.
All right, the prosecution, you may proceed with your closing arguments. Please set a timer for 2 minutes.
I'm reading chat. Let's go.
Wick.
We win these.
You may proceed.
Sorry. All right, I stand here before you to rest my case against Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones was the owner, and therefore he was the one arrested. Mr. Wick purchased the store most likely due to how easy it was to make the sales to the people that did not have a registered firearms license. And it was the owner's responsibility to make sure that all laws are followed within that store when selling firearms to citizens. Now, I know everybody here would like to stay safe and have guns in the right hands of the right people. With stores like this selling weapons to citizens that do not have registered firearms, is making it easier for the criminals to get guns in their hands, just to so the owners of the store can make a quick buck from people that do not have weapons license and are very needing of that they will pay more to get a weapon that they're not allowed to have. So I ask that we get justice for anybody who may have been affected by the people having firearms when they're not supposed to. Made those guns, we don't know, could have been used in robberies, murders, or anything else. Okay, we can't make this an okay thing for people to own weapon stores and then sell weapons to people who do not have license, as it sets a precedent for other stores. So we cannot let them get away with this. I rest my case, Your Honor.
All right, members of the jury, you have heard all of the testimonies concerning this case. It is now up to you to determine the facts. You and you alone are the judges of the fact. Once you decide what facts the evidence proves, you must then apply the law as I give to you. As I give to you.
Please rise and follow me.
Not guilty. I love you, chat.
Later, homeboys.
Later, homeboys.
And girls.
Have fun.
We win these. They got to go. What do they call that? Deliberate or some shit? 100% not guilty. Thank you guys for all the new follows. Welcome, everybody. We in court, bro. This has been amazing, RP, bro. I'm making a tube video out of this. You know the vibes. Look at Lucid
Do
City.
you have any Skittles? I'm kind of hungry.
Judge, the jury has not reached the verdict. You guys, please. Alright, Your Honor. The jury has not reached the verdict.
All right. What does the jury say?
We, the jury, in the case of the San Andreas versus Don Wick and Roy Jones, find the defendant not guilty of the charge of illegal firearm distribution.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, jury,
Yes,
for your service
sir.
today. Court is adjourned.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he ain't got
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations, homeboy. Congratulations.
Not guilty.
Let's go.
Not guilty. Let's go. Yes, sir. Not guilty.
You know the vibe.
W
Let's
judge.
go. Let's go. Yes, sir. We free, bro.
Sorry, Chief, you want to talk?
Poggers.
But that's just how it is in Lucid City.
Oh man, they got the
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, she dead as hell. You dead as hell,
This is my
Shawty.
whole month. This
Goddamn.
made my whole fucking month, everybody. Thank you.
Hey, yes, sir.
You know the fucking
You know the vibes, fam. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, brother. We not guilty. We not guilty. We not guilty. We free.
Justice. Gather around. I would like to make a brief announcement.
Everyone, keep moving. Please disperse.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a quick announcement here.
He literally said stop, move him.
Free guns.
I want to thank everyone who was part of this process from
Yes.
top to bottom on both sides.
Yes.
Hey guys, this was excellent. And also, there's a party in the casino after
what?
this.
Yeah, party at the casino.
Fuck yeah, let's go to the casino,
I'll talk to you. Everybody go to the casino. Party at casino. Let's go. Be iconic.